This is an advanced watercolor demo by Ekaterina Smirnova. We are painting late autumn. We will need raw sienna, olive green, sepia, ultramarine, watercolors, and white gouache. I will be painting on rough watercolor paper, 156 pound. I would like to teach you a little trick. If you want to set a particular mood for your artwork, you could color the paper prior to painting. I will make a light mix of raw sienna and water, and with this color, I will pre-paint all around the paper. This is going to be my base color. You can color the whole sheet of paper with this or leave a little border around. And once I apply it an equal layer, I will wait for it to fully dry. Can you see the difference? So now with a pencil, I will make a little sketch of the main objects on the artwork. This is my horizon line, and I will make a main road leading from the off-center closer to us. It disappears on a distance and becomes much wider when it gets close to us. So now we can proceed with painting. This is a very light mix of ultramarine color and water. I will add very light mix on the top where the sky goes, just on the left side of the sky. I don't want to color the whole thing, just that top left corner, and we'll make sure that there is no border. I will pre-dry my brush and remove the line on the bottom. So now I will play with olive green color. This color is very nice, it's not too bright, and if you do not have olive green, you can actually mix it yourself. For that, you need to get cadmium yellow and an ultramarine color, so it comes out as a very similar green. So with this color, I will paint the areas where there is a late grass still remaining somewhat green, and on the left side of the road on the field. Just simply apply one solid color and now dilute this olive green with some blue to make it not as bright but rather a subdued color. It will become more of a cooler tone because maybe there is some frost on the ground already. It is a late autumn after all. So with that color I painted on both left and right side of the road. And now I am adding some raw sienna to my mix. And with this mix, I will paint trees on the distance. I will be adding sometimes yellow color. On the left side of the row of trees, I'm painting with blue. Those trees are even further in the distance. Please notice that on the bottom part of those trees, I'm trying to remove all of the lines so it disappears on the bottom, because this is the area where the fog will be painted. So I want it to be as light as possible. I'm adding some blue on the right side as well. And this area is actually a reflection on the lake. So they will have some trees also, very light and disappearing on the sides. So now I'm painting with this sepia color the shadows of the row of reeds very loosely, and you probably noticed I also have some painted yellow grass. And with the same color of sepia, I will be painting the road itself. I will be very careful, trying not to go over the borders to the green grass, and will also, please notice, I am painting some of the puddles on the floor. So let me speed up this video a little bit so you can see what the outcome is. And all of those white roundish shapes are the puddles on the ground. And while the color is still not dried, I am adding deeper and darker brown sepia, so it spreads out very nicely. Adding a little bit more intense brown on the right side, following the shape of the road. And adding some dirt also on the grass area. That area was dry, that's why I could achieve quite a dry stroke. So this is the rest of the grass with rose sienna, and there are also same grass in the distance, and on the right side, also close to the lake. Be careful not to paint over the areas that are still wet, otherwise your color will be spreading around. If you notice this starts happening, you should wait until that area will be dry. Feel free to use a hair dryer. So now I'm adding some blue color to the olive green. And with this color, I am intensifying the area of grass that is closer to us. You can see the big difference. It's time now to paint with gouache. Why gouache is the only gouache that I use with my watercolors? Because it allows me to make the depth. If this is the fog is quite intense. So by applying layers of the fog, you can create this effect of density of moisture. I used a hair dryer to dry that area where the first layer of fog was applied, and I will add some details. These are some trees that are somewhat visible, perhaps on a little island or on the other side of the lake. And I'm not forgetting to add a patch of grass and earth in there, and adding a little bit of yellow because it is a late autumn. Perhaps some of the leaves are still remaining on the trees. You can make the tone of the brown more cooler by adding blue into sepia. It almost creates the color that I often use called Payne's gray. But if you know how to mix colors, you can use only few. That's why my palette is very limited every time. I am adding some of the details for the marsh, the grass, and adding more details for the green grass. Those are areas that are in the shade, some patches of grass. It's not a lawn, so it's more in the nature, therefore the grass is not quite equal. With a light mix of ultramarine and water, I will paint over puddles on the path. They reflect sky and therefore they are a little bit blue. I am adding the same blue to the white gouache because I want to give it a little bit of a cooler tone, and I will use this quite intense white gouache mix as a second layer of the fog, painting right over the trees because trees also disappear in the distance in the fog. Once I'm done applying a solid layer of the fog, I will paint a little bit over the left corner of the sky again, just to intensify the little hint of blue, making sure that there are no visible lines. And I will use a hairdryer to fully dry my painting. Once it's dry, I will make another yet layer of gouache to make the fog even more intense. You've noticed, of course, that every time that the gouache dries out, it becomes almost invisible. So I need a few layers in order to achieve the effect that I'm looking for. Now that this layer is dry again, I'm almost done with my painting. I just need to add a few of the details for the grasses on the foreground. This makes the painting complete. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please ask me any questions, and I will see you next time.